Greetings. When I was an everyday director working at a hospital, whenever a problem came up, I pretty much went and immediately worked on trying to fix it and resolve the issue. Every once in a while, if I was working on a different project already, I would write it down, and as soon as I finished the project I was working on, then I went to it because I always felt that being in the moment allowed me to get something fixed so that everyone and everything else could go on fine, and then I could get back to doing other things. In my opinion, that's what helped me to be able to sit down at my desk and plan ahead of time instead of waiting for things to go wrong and then have to jump on it. And it worked really well for a whole lot of years. Then I started working for myself. And now, of course, I'm also a caregiver at home. And the odd things that come up now is that one, even when I'm doing work, sometimes I'm creating a lot of information and I'm putting it in documents and not saving them when I need to. This happened earlier today where I had this document that had all this information on it, and then I had to stop for a little bit, and I went back and had to plug something in, and it basically turned off my computer, and I lost all the notes. I lost them all. And unfortunately, this is something I'd been putting together for 3 days. So this is something that either I decide to start from scratch and go through a whole lot of research to find it all, or I just let it go. Luckily, it wasn't overly important. It's just one of those kind of things where I said, I should have saved it. Why didn't I save it? I even thought about it last night before I decided to go to bed. I said, I should save this. Then I said, it'll be fine. Idiocy. And it's the same kind of thing when you're thinking about things in the kitchen. For instance, you cook a meal and you put something on your plate, and maybe you don't wash the skillet at that time. Or maybe you finished eating, and instead of washing the plate and the fork or the spoon, you just put it in the sink and you'll say, I'll get to it later on because you got other things on your mind. And the next thing you know, by the time you're ready to do wash, for all that stuff, your sink is full. And you're thinking, oh goodness, I don't want to spend all this time doing it. But of course, you have to. One of the things I keep trying to tell myself to do now that I'm home that I never had to do when I was working for someone else is be in the moment. Do something now that you've thought about it and just get rid of what could happen later on. Like I said, losing files or suddenly having a whole lot of stuff that I have to do where if I'd done it right then and there, it may have taken 15, 20 seconds and I'm done. And I know I'm not the only one. Being in the moment basically says that if you have a kid who comes over to you and says something, you stop whatever it is you're doing and you take time with your child so that you don't forget to do something later on. Or, one of those weird things where there's people who cook things. This happened to me a couple of times over the past couple of years. So I know what this is like where you put something on top of the stove or even in the oven, and then you don't set the timer, you don't think about it until you start sniffing the air and wonder what that is. And you realize you have burned your meal because you're not in the moment. You All it took really was to set a timer and take it with you, or stay in there. If it was something that shouldn't have taken all that long, just stay in there with it and do what you needed to do to get that. So that's what I want to talk about today. And I want to ask the question, how well do you stay in the moment when you have to get something done, or when you've done something and it's something where it's critical if you turn out to lose it and you might have to put it back together again? That's today's question. My name is Mitch Mitchell. Hope y'all are handling the stay at home stuff really well. I'll talk to you later.